She would lock her gaze on the Wind Clan leader. Head held high. Confident, Snowstorm, she'd whisper to herself. She'd cast a quick glance around her. Wind Clan was surely small in comparison to the other clans. River Clan, my warriors and our clanmates have been standing strong. Unlike you lots, I've reported sightings of HAHHA chasers in my marsh biome though. The she would let out a stark growl. War? She'd hiss. She could have never guessed that would be the outcome of a gathering. She'd get to a pause, her fur standing on edge. She knew StarClan wouldn't allow fighting under the sanctuary of the Moonstone. But these cats don't appear to be thinking logically. She'd bound onto her back, scratching and hissing under the shoe. She'd start to flail around, somewhat forgetting her training. She'd scratch the cat before being thrusted off. She'd take a deep breath. She had to compose herself. The violent yowls of cats around her did somewhat distract her. She'd get to her paws, leaping on the shoe. She'd let out a loud screech. You chose the wrong cat. She'd lift her paw, scratching the cat's flank. The she raked Sandclaw with her back claws, catching her fur beneath them. She was focused on the cat beneath her paws, snarling and preparing to delve the finishing blow. Frosted Muzzle would push the Wind Clan cat off her, hissing. She gave them a quick nod of thanks before plunging back on the Wind Clan cat once again. She'd fly over to her side, wincing slightly from the pain of the fresh wounds. She'd begin to canter away in a desperate attempt to compose herself. She'd breathe faintly, closing her eyes and looking up towards the sky. StarClan, help me! After a few moments of peace, she'd begin to bound over towards another River Clan cat. She was hidden behind a bush. Maybe the element of surprise could help her. She'd narrow her eyes, focusing on a single cat. The yowls of battling cats was almost drowned out by her concentration. She could do this, she thought. In a slow yet focused gait, she'd make her way over towards the cat, her fur standing on edge. As she locked eyes with her target, she prepared. Show me what you've got, she'd yell before pouncing towards the Tom. She'd pin him to the floor, holding him steady under her paws. He screeched, his paws flying towards the she-cat's muzzle. She'd wince, jumping away. She'd let out a snarl. Thistlesight lunged, biting the she-cat's tail. She'd yowl once more. Without warning, Blue Curse would grab her by the neck and run off. Get off of me, she'd yell. The Tom would let her go. Stay here, where it's safe. She'd flail her paws around, scratching the cat's face. She'd pause for a moment, somewhat confused. What do you mean? She'd narrow her eyes, clearly skeptical. She'd sniff the young cat. River Clan scent, very recognizable. Run! I'm trying to help end this. So run! She'd narrow her eyes once more. I will only stop fighting once StarClan welcomes me. She'd meow before bounding back towards the fighting. She'd share a smirk. Let's finish this. She'd begin to strut around the Tom. He dove at the she-cat's legs, biting and growling. She'd hiss once more. Wind Clan is gonna run, but can't fight. He mocked. She'd muster all her energy to deliver one final pounce. She was exhausted. She looked around. Wind Clan was clearly losing. And yet she'd lift her paw, her mouth open to gasp for air. Goodbye, River Clan cats! As the adrenaline started to wear off, she'd look at her paws. She did this. You took their life, I'm taking yours. She'd let out a hiss. He was going to kill me. A life for a life, she'd yell. As her paws carried her away, tears would roll down her face. She paused, looking back at the gathering. She'd whimper. This was her first fight, and yet she didn't feel that sense of victory the older warriors described. As she reflected on the events, closed her eyes. She had truly ended a cat. Would StarClan even accept her for this act? She thought, but wasn't this what war was for? Who truly wins after all this bloodshed, she'd think. She'd get to her paws once more. Her stomach growled, but she had to help her clanmates. No matter what, she was a Wind Clan cat. She'd watch from afar, desperately trying to get the scent of her clanmate. As she stared into the open plain, her heart sank. They were outnumbered. She tried to swiftly make her way towards Sunstar. Sunstar, we have to retreat. So many warriors have died. We must retreat. She'd cast a worried glance at her leader, praying she'd agree. As she began to gaze around the now quiet gathering, she'd spot a lifeless clanmate. She'd sigh before laying down beside them. May Star Clan welcome you, she'd whisper. She'd begin to make her way back to Wind Clan. As the adrenaline wore off, she was hit with a strong wave of pain on her shoulder and leg. She'd spot a bird. She could use some food to get back her energy. She'd begin to crawl towards it.
Bad luck.
As it flew away, she let out a hiss. She'd turn to the rogue. A rogue! She'd hiss. What are you doing in Wind Clan territory? She'd begin to tense her shoulders, her fur standing on edge.
The barn's over there. That's where I live.
She was exhausted and hoped he wouldn't have much of a fight in him. She let out a questioning meow. Follow me, she commanded, limping with her front paw.
What's this?
She spat. As she entered her home clan, her heart sank. After the battle, Wind Clan was small. Smaller than it had been after such a hard leaf burn. She'd shake her head. I'm surprised you don't know this clan. Wind Clan. This is my home, she'd answer.
Ah, yes. I know it must all seem very sentimental.
Our leader will be back soon, but for now I'll be keeping an eye on you. Don't try anything. Her stomach would growl once more. She was weak. She needed help and to eat something. She had to keep an eye on this cat, but she also needed to eat.
You hungry?
She'd narrow her eyes towards the second rogue entering Wind Clan territory. Could her luck be any worse? She snarled to herself. Where is our leader? She'd beg. Sunstar! She'd meow in a thankful tone. We shouldn't have fought in that battle, she protested. I'll get you patched up. She'd lift a brow. Well, I don't expect to look amazing after a war, she'd hiss back. Yikes, your wounds look painful, she said with a slight wince of remorse, staring at the feline in front of her. She'd shrug her shoulders. I'll survive. Just a few cuts, and my front paw is hurting. I can't really put too much pressure onto it, she frowned. Goodness, maybe some rest will do you good. The cost of war, I guess. She'd meow, trying not to put the attention onto her. That is a deep gash, and it needs tending. They'd growl before turning towards Cedar Branch. If you convince her to come to my den before she catches her death. She'd nod, yeah, but I can't let it affect me too much. I have duties to fulfill, and I'm sure cats have had worse injuries. I bet you were fantastic out there. Have you been to the medicine den? He pressed tail tips, twitching as he studied her paw. Despite her objections, Cedar Pounce continued. At this point, every cat needs to be. She'd smile before a smile would drop into a frown. She'd think back to the life of this cat under her paws. At their best, including you. She'd stare out into the distance. Clearly lost in thought. I did that, she'd mumble. Maybe you should go to the den. I can handle your duties for now. Maybe even Cedar Pounce could. She'd force herself to cast a warm smile. Thank you, she'd meow. I can go with you if it'll make you feel better, she blinked, reaching her small paw out. Come on, he prompted gingerly. I don't want to be a burden, she'd purr. It wasn't like her to deny help, but the events of the gathering had scarred her. She'd follow behind the cat,